Good to see you guys over here on YouTube land, Rumble, locals, wherever you can be. I'm Andrew Esquire, and welcome to the Legal Mindset. We teach you guys to be your own judge. Of course, we're set up here. Sorry it's a little bit late, but I got to get Rumble going on because, well, we're talking about Rumble today. So it'd be kind of unacceptable if we didn't have Rumble up when we talk about Rumble. That's really something that's got to happen. So we're up, we're rocking on Rumble, locals, YouTube, all platforms. Good to see you guys there. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit about Disney. We'll start by talking about Disney, kind of an intro here, a teaser. Then we'll get into Russell Brand, and then lastly, I want to bring up the Joe Jonas, Sophie Turner case, because as a international man and as a man who has no love for the 304s. The case between Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner is looking like it could get pretty spicy, and it is now an official legal case. So there is now a lawsuit filed between Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. So we'll cover that one in the near future. Let's cover these member chats, though. Jim Satala says, "What's up, Andrew? Good to see you too, buddy. Good to see you, Jim." Also, Patrick Kennedy said before the show, so it doesn't show up. It says, remember the 9th of September, the longest serving monarch in British history. Queen Elizabeth II dies at 96. Very true. And also welcome Cal Mahones, who rejoined, I think, the replay gang as well. So welcome to you and all those members of the replay gang of the Base Legal Mindset. I see you in the chat. You make this a great show. Let me give a quick shout out to Claybuster, Jim Satala, Hunch the Dirty Roofer, Gene Jeffries, Danielle, Not K, Andrew F, Garrett Pace, Tina Wright, Jason J, Vine, Bella Stella, Tank Rat, the homie, the Ice Cold Wolf, Sleazy. Got a lot of you in today, and a lot of this green in the chat is part of this quest to have the chat entirely green. There's been some very, very generous member donations by people like Tank Rap, people like Bella Stella that have donated a lot of memberships. So I do appreciate the wall of green here today in the chat. It is very much appreciated. All of you guys are very much appreciated on this channel. We got Hunch the Dirty Roofer saying, "Are we live?" About as live as you on a hot Florida roof, Hunch. We're pretty live right now. We're pretty live right now. Vibe AI, who is a great channel to check out if you like lo-fi beats. Member for 9 months who says, "Yo, bro, long time, no type." Well, you type, I talk. I mean, we each have our thing. But good to see you, Vibe AI, on the channel. I know that you've been over here on YouTube. You've been on Locals. It's been great. See, Britt Cormier, he was like, "Sub slacker." Yeah, it's not that I've been slacking, just, there's a lot of stuff going on. In mindset world. Specifically, those who do know, I have another channel, Go East Gentlemen, and I just finalized my plans for our Tokyo meetup in around Halloween. So Friday before Halloween, we're doing a nice happy hour meetup. Then we're going to do a Halloween event, and then we're going to pop over and do a actual conference. So in Tokyo. So if you happen to be in Asia, please let me know. We've already got about 25% of the people booked for the conference itself. There is a limit cap on that. So if you're interested, if you're going to be in Tokyo, goeastgentleman.com. It's going to be a very interesting Halloween. But speaking of an interesting person, a person I really enjoy streaming with. Well, actually, I'll catch this one. Billy Aoki says, "ASMR stream when?" Now. We're doing it now. And I'm doing it with a girl. Like, hold on. In a world where women are really not women, there was one who actually watched the stuff and liked it. And that was Anna.
Hi.
I don't know, sorry. It's the morning for me. I'm still getting up into this. Hey, how's it going, Anna? Good to see you.
You're in a suit in the morning?
I know, it's crazy, right? It's almost like I used to have to do this almost every single day. It's almost like that.
That's awful. What's up?
I love it. It's great. No, you stood me up the other day, but like any good date, you get stood up and you still ask her out. You keep simping. You ask her on that second date. you know. So I said, all right, I'll get Anna back. She's really into this brand stuff, and I actually think you're gonna have more information than me. So
did you read it?
What? I've read a lot of stuff, but I mean, you go deep. You go deep on a lot of stuff. So
I know, but I mean, I feel like everyone I've talked to hasn't read the article, and I'm like, am I the only person on this planet that read it?
Wait, the original article?
Yeah.
Of course. No. I've read the original article in full. In fact, I did a stream going through that original article in full, the Sunday Times article, really, which is the genesis. And when there is a lawsuit, it'll be against the Sunday Times, right? So when the defamation lawsuit rolls around and the tortious interference with business practices, it's going to include them as a party, because at this point, at least in the American system, he has a case. Like, he can file right now because he has actual contracts that have been broken, actual monetary loss. He's got YouTube now. He's got other contracts that have canceled on him. So he's got more than enough damages to start suing people when he wants to, when he chooses to do so. He may be, looking at his options right now in the UK, in the US, where do you want to file? There's some art to that. We saw with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, sometimes you file in the wrong country and you get fucked. I mean, Johnny got fucked in the UK, and this could happen again in the brand case. Yeah. So
what's your opinion on all four of these? Do you believe any of them?
I will believe this. So we'll start with this. So I will believe that, because, okay, let me number them out here. We've got four. We've got one that was he had sex kind of forcibly against the wall, I guess. Like, it was kind of like rough sex.
Okay, that's the text message girl. There's the
text message girl.
There's
16-year-old girl.
Alcoholics Anonymous girl.
Yes, and there's the forcible throat stuff.
16-year-old.
The throat is a 16-year-old.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the last one is the girl that walked in on him naked in his dressing room and dated.
Sounds like her problem.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So, okay. So you've got walked in on him naked, but they also dated, right?
Yes.
16-year-old also seems to have dated Russell Brand, like, been with him for a
girlfriend for 3 months.
Right. So there's an ongoing relationship there. And then the other two, did they also have ongoing relationships, or were they just kind of shorter things?
They were like hookup relationships, but they were actively having sex.
Right. Yeah, they're hooking up, their fuck buddies, that sort of thing, calling up booty calls, but it's not just one and done, and it wasn't just he got drunk and took advantage of me after meeting in a bar situation.
Yeah.
Got it. So yeah, so in terms of all of those situations, to me, it very much came off, just thinking about it at first, reading the allegations, I'm thinking, okay, this is this Me Too kind of brand, which has brought us to, I regret I had sex with this person. At the time, I was enthusiastic about it. At the time, I wanted to get clout. I thought I was going to change him. I thought I was going to fuck him. That's what it is, Anna. And you're, I love having.
No, that's exactly what it is. Okay. I got to tell you, because everyone laughs at me. So
sometimes fairly.
I use this on one of my streams, the one that the forcibly up against the wall. So you're a really tall guy. Like,
yes.
I'm in person, you're super tall. So Russell Brand, I think, is like, what? How tall are you?
I'm 6'6", almost 6'5.5", 6'6".
Like, I know you're taller than him, but so he's 6'4", and so he's a tall guy. And so the girl that said, this is a girl that was his fuck buddy. She knew he was promiscuous and sleeping with other girls. She's like, I got stuck against the wall and my purse got stuck under a painting. And I'm so like, you're short like me. How low is your purse to get stuck on this painting? And then she claims that he like pulled her underwear to the side and banged her against the wall. And I'm like, but if you're stuck because your purse is stuck on the painting and that's low, if he's 6'4", how does that? And I kid you not, I've been using my Barbies.
No, but are you, oh no, you're doing that. You're doing the ratio here. You're like, okay.
I'm like
show me on the doll where he fucked you. You know, it's like, oh god.
I've been using my dolls, and I'm just like, okay, so if to like fuck a girl against the wall, you either have to pick her up or Russell Brand is doing squats, and I've seen how skinny that mofo is. I don't think he's doing squats.
No, you can do it. You can do it.
Okay,
you can do it.
You might be able to do it. I don't think Russell Brand can do it.
I'm just saying, like, okay, what her definition of against the wall is, right? Because if it's like face down, if it's like face down, ass up, and angled up, it's very possible.
Her back and arms are against the wall because she's stuck because her purse is stuck on
her back is against the wall. Okay, I'm imagining this like I'm stuck in the washing machine porn here, you know, like that sort of situation where like she's turned around towards the wall, she bends over to pick up a purse, and he just goes at it.
No,
right?
She says her like arms and back are against the wall, stuck on the painting, and she said not stuck on the painting. So I'm like, either she's holding her purse or it's like around her shoulder. But even then, she talks about how much bigger he is than her. So I'm like, so how is that happening? Like that wouldn't work.
Okay, now that you're saying it that way, because like I didn't think about it that way, but now that you're saying about that, yes, that is very much.
You're a tall guy. If you're banging up against the wall, you have to pick her up.
You'd have to physically pick her up, or you'd have to squat down, and then you'd have to get like the angle of the dangle. Like, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
It doesn't make any sense. And then the 16-year-old, the one where the below job was too aggressive, she was dating him. She was in his house, in his room, on his bed, up against the headboard. It's not like she was sitting on the edge of the bed. It's not like they were on the couch. And she's like, oh yeah, I was up against the headboard and his dick went so far, like it hurt my tonsils. And I was like, okay, so all you have to do then is, and it'll pull right out.
So let me read this one real quick. So this one, and this is from the People version because I could find it not pay gated, but I've read the original article. I just didn't have it pulled up right now without the pay gate. But this is about the one about the oral attack here. An unidentified woman also accused Brand of removing his condom during. Okay, hold on. Yeah, removing his condom during sex one time without her knowledge. So actually, before we get into the oral part, let's just. Well, actually, no. Actually, I'll talk about the oral part. Then we'll talk about the condom stuff.
Oh, following no, the one with the wall. I'll use my Barbie. Condom is the wall chick, and all of her texts are about that he did it without a condom because she knows he's promiscuous and sleeping with other people. So she's just pissed that they did it without a condom.
Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second because that's a whole separate deal. But here you go. Following his 31st birthday, she said that Brand sexually assaulted her by forcing his penis down his throat. It was choking me and I couldn't breathe and I was pushing him away and he wasn't backing off. I ended up having to punch him really hard in the stomach to get him off. I was crying and said, oh, I only wanted to see your mascara run away. She said Brand then climbed on top of her, held open her mouth and drooled into it. I was gagging and trying to fight him off, but he's lying on top of me so I can't. My limbs were trapped underneath him. Okay. Held my mouth shut and made me swallow it. So I was just gagging and crying.
So this article is misquoting it because those are two different incidents that they're combining into one.
Yeah.
In the mouth is a different time than the blowjob. And one thing I will point out that they conveniently leave out is what were you doing before the blowjob? If you're in a man's bed up against his headboard, and again, I'll use my Barbies. You're up against the headboard. And he somehow gets on you to put his dick in your mouth. I'm like, girl, did he just finish going down on you and he wants to finish? And so he
right. Or you right, exactly. So like maybe you were having sex and he's about to finish. He doesn't want to do it like a lot of people, they can't with a condom on, or they don't like to do it that way. So, some people are okay using a condom for regular vaginal sex, but then no condom for oral sex is okay. Everybody has different rules, right? So it's all different with everybody, right? So he might be trying to like finish or whatever. And also what the nature of their sexual relationship is, we don't know. A lot of people are into fairly rough sex, and we have no business in people's bedrooms like dictating, okay, because they like rough sex, that's now bad, right?
Well,
it's very hilarious how if this was a trans relationship, we wouldn't be able to talk about the bedroom stuff, but because it's a straight guy's relationship and their sex, we got to talk about exactly what they do and how it can become problematic later, right? Because if a girl's into choking, she's into choking. I mean, there's people that are into that. It's actually it's disturbing how common that is as a fetish. But
it's she's 16, so I'll give her she hasn't figured out how to give blowjobs yet. I mean, I said this in my video on it. I'm like, I was 16 too, but I think it's a universal thing that if you want a guy to get his dick out of your mouth, you just instant. You don't have to punch them. The second a guy feels teeth start.
Yes. if you bite his dick, it is going out, right? Even mildly. Yeah,
I'm like, okay, if she would have said like we were on the like any other situation, but she's like, oh, I was up against his headboard, and I'm like, so you were in his bed? What were you doing in his bed? Oh my gosh, a guy.
I was there for church. You know. I'm
like, oh my gosh, a guy that you were currently having sex with put his dick in your mouth.
Yes.
And you didn't break up with him after that.
Right. No, very much correct. Actually, so, and the thing is, there's this whole, and I get it. Look, yes, consent can be, if you say no, that means no, right? If you actually go out and say, hey, no, stop, and then someone keeps doing it. She does not, from all these encounters, all 4 of them, none of them, it's clear where they said no, where they actually visibly, like just actively said no, and he continued to do so. What seems to be more like, in retrospect, they think the encounter was more upsetting for them, right? Maybe it was more demeaning than they normally would have, but they're willing to do that with Russell Brand. Maybe Russell Brand just liked rougher sex. And normally with their beta Billy boyfriend, all they do is missionary with a couple pumps. And that's all they normally do. But this, they got into much rougher sex. And they think about it now that it's 5 or 10 years later.
18 years. The 16-year-old was 18 years ago.
18 years later, when they didn't get the clout they wanted, they're like, okay, let me get my revenge. Let me get my second wind here, and let me come back and accuse. This is a very similar pattern that we see with a lot of other people when they're the girlfriend, they're cool, they're the down chick, they're great. But now when they're not the girlfriend, all of a sudden they're a freaking demon.
Yep.
Very, very much true. So let's get back to, I want to talk about one thing, and I'll get the super chat, but I'll talk about it. I want to talk about the condom stuff. So, but Helena J, before I get into it, says, wall sex won't work as the accuser claimed, I'm sure. How are you so sure, Helena?
All of them. So it's
how are you so sure?
The one with the painting, that doesn't make sense. The girl in the bed, it's like, okay, out of all of the weird sex stuff, the thing that she wouldn't do was the threesome, and that's why she broke up with him. Because she, like you said, she
wouldn't do a threesome. It's like, first of all, that's
why she broke up with him, was because she wasn't the only woman in his life. I'm like, hun, you're a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, and he's a fucking rock star. I hate to break it to you, but successful guys are having a lot of sex with a lot of women. Yep. It's just factual information. Like, if a guy is very successful, and especially if he's single, and the thing about Russell Brand was, of everybody in the world, look, I don't like his politics, especially back then. He was super lefty, he was a commie, all that stuff. But the guy at least was very open about being sexual. He wasn't hiding that. He wasn't like some sort of like closet deviant. He was just like, yeah, I like to have sex and I like to fuck and whatever. Like, that was just his image, his vibe. People knew that. And nowhere would you give away I'm a monogamous dude vibes from this guy.
No,
like, it was not what's going on here. But yet every girl thinks, I can change him, Anna. I can change him.
No, they're stupid. Well, then the other one that she's like, oh, I walked into his dressing room and his dick was out, and he made a joke about me being there for a blowjob. And I'm like, oh, so you walked in on a guy naked to diffuse the situation. He made a joke because he's a fucking comedian and he didn't want you to feel uncomfortable in this uncomfortable situation. And then he asked you out a month later and you dated him and had sex with him.
That to me is the most egregious thing. It's like, okay, so you had sex with him, right? You literally dated him and had sex with him, but that wasn't okay. It's like, let's look into that. Let's fact check that.
Could you
How
imagine
many
a man
times
walked in on a woman changing and like she didn't have a top on or like her bottoms on and he made a joke about her and he would be Me Too to high heavens.
it would be over. It would be over.
Guy with his dick out. I'm like, you went into his dressing room. What the fuck do you think was gonna happen?
Right. Does he file? And that's the whole unequal thing. And I kind of got into that at X when I was talking about the condom stuff. So there's some jurisdictions, Anna, where it is like, once again, if you can do this, I withdraw consent in an instant. You can withdraw consent. It's kind of okay. The thought is you're withdrawing consent if you engage in stealthing, which is right, ripping the condom out. So you agree actively to use
stealthing. What's that?
Stealthing, that's a term. So I thought you knew this. So that's a term they use for like when you say, oh yeah, I'll use a condom, and then you take it off during sex. Usually, let's say if you're doing doggy, you can pretty easily rip the condom off while she's not looking, and then she sees it, right? Because you switch positions again because you're just trying to go really fast. And she's like, wait a second, you're not using a condom. She catches you. That technically in some jurisdictions is a criminal offense. So like in and of itself, just lack of condom use in some jurisdictions like California is illegal. You're in California. That's illegal where you're at.
It's legal or illegal?
Illegal. You cannot take the condom off if you agree to do it. Now,
but you can not tell somebody that you have AIDS and give them AIDS.
Yes, and you can also tell them you're using birth control, and you cannot, which is what I put up here as a poll. It says in a jurisdiction like California, right? Like California, we're not using a condom or lying about it, right? Is illegal, right? Should lying about birth control be punished? And the majority of people agree. I mean, over 95% total agree. Yeah.
No, that's actually what happened with Peaches. So obviously Peaches has a daughter and she wanted to have a baby because she wanted to get citizenship and she lied about being on birth control.
And see, a lot of people are saying condoms can break, and a lot of people bring up the AIDS stuff. The issue to me is not what the consequences are, whatever else. It's the lying part, right? Condom, you lie about birth control, and there's serious consequences. In the case of a condom, you can get pregnant. You can also get an STD. It's possible. With birth control, you can have a kid. That's a major repercussion. That's a huge repercussion for you if you think she's on it and she's not, right? And now I'm not saying somebody who is on it and it fails. I'm not saying that should be punishable at all whatsoever. I'm talking about lying, like especially if you can prove it. You've got a text message, you've got something that says, "Hey, baby, I'm on birth control." That's definitely something that is problematic. And look, it's just as hard to prove as stealthing, right? Because stealthing is going to be your word against theirs. Right, you go to court and say, I used a condom. And she'll say, no, you didn't. Well, okay. Well, that's probably the extent of the proof, unless you have like a video of his penis while it's in you, like.
I feel like this is more between gay men than men and women, because men, obviously the condom has more of effect on a man than it does on a woman. And if gay guys don't want to get diseases,
well, that's the whole AIDS myth, right? Because it was always like the issue was always that like HIV was kind of misrepresented in the straight community, right? So it was misrepresented that it was as common or easy to get for straight men with straight women as it was for gay men, right?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking as in terms of like if it is going to court because she's saying that he was stealthing, well, wouldn't you have like a baby to prove that if it was?
No, because here's the thing about stealthing, Anna, is that you can be guilty of it without a baby. Just having sex without a condom is enough, right? That just one time, right? And oftentimes what happens is this. They're charged with like, let's say sexual assault or rape, and then they throw on stealthing. So like that's a separate thing they try to tack on. So it's like an added charge, you know. So they try to get them. The way they try to do it is they throw all these charges at somebody. So the jury looks at him and they're like, oh well, maybe he's not guilty of rape, but he's guilty of stealthing. So we're gonna convict him on that.
I don't know. When it comes to that, I'm like, unless the guy is like actively like pulling you into an alley and raping you or putting the stuff in your drink. If you're in an active relationship with like where you're dating, you're having sex, it's not the first time, like the one and done, that's a little bit different. But with all of these girls with Russell Brand, they're all women that he was seen on some kind of level and sleeping with, and it was all consensual. And it's just like, oh, well, this one time it bothered me.
Yeah. No, I get it. Absolutely.
Well, the one with the not wearing the condom is,
and that comes up because actually, even recently, I had a girlfriend who was on birth control, and she wanted to. And it was a person I'd seen for a very long time, and I was very comfortable with, and we knew each other, and we were well tested, whatever else. So, you know, it's like, all right, you know, on birth control, so you know, no condom is great. We can do that for a while.
Do people not know how to pull out anymore?
Listen, I don't. They're not professionals, Anna. They're not professionals. But then for a while, she's like, look, I want to try to go off it because, you know, birth control does mess with your hormones. It really does mess with your like body. So she's like, all right, I want to stop. And I'm like, all right, so you change to having a condom. So you change your standing agreement to, okay, you're going to go off. I'm going to start using a condom. It's totally fine. I really don't care. Right. In that case, you have like kind of that standing agreement. Now, if at some point after you had that conversation, you had sex without a condom one time, I don't think that should be criminal. Being like, oops, I forgot it or whatever. There's a million reasons why. It fell off, whatever's going on. I don't think that should suddenly be a criminal thing, right? That like it's your girlfriend or person you're seeing on a regular basis, seeing them for several months, and all of a sudden you're going to jail for that. I think that's a bit extreme. I think it's a bit
bad for people that are dating right now, because it's like you really have to choose your partners carefully because they can just stab you in the back. 18.
Yeah. Oh yeah. TM, by the way, Rumble is live. So for those that want to go over to Rumble, it's there. I think there was a little issue with the thing, but yeah, we're up on there on Rumble. In fact, I can even show you that Occupant over there on Rumble has now sent the biggest message of the day. Rumble dominating here with $5, saying, "Look forward to the live stream starting on Rumble." Well, it started, so there you go, guys. There you go. Appreciate you. Yeah. Did you see this Catherine McPherson drama that's going on right now?
I don't know who that is.
Or sorry, not Catherine McPhee. Okay, I'm gonna play this scenario. So this is a thing where everybody found this old clip and they've started to try to go after him for it. So let me show you what happened. I'm gonna play the clip, and you tell me, is this unwanted sexual behavior?
Okay.
Right? So we're gonna go into this. Yeah. Okay.
You have to move out of your chair, and
Catherine is welcome.
No, she's not. No, don't do it. Trust me, don't do this. Don't even say for the queen. You
We're
can't.
gonna do an interview
Don't say for the queen.
For the queen.
No, don't say that, please, Russell.
You're beautiful.
Russell, please.
Oh, thank you.
Should I just sit here?
Sure.
I'll just be here. Russell, look away.
With my sexual charisma.
All right, there you go. Catherine, please sit here.
Oh
Welcome.
my gosh, this is all too much for just the first 30 seconds. Wow.
That's how fast. You look gorgeous. Thank you for coming back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, please. I saw a picture of you yesterday. You were at the Super Bowl.
I was. Can we not talk about it? It's all too soon.
You were a big 49ers fan.
Okay. So that's kind of where it went. So like that encounter right there, right? Is that an unwanted sexual encounter? Is that wildly inappropriate? Like, what do you think, Anna?
He danced in front of him and she sat on his lap.
Right. And they talked beforehand, you know?
She invaded his space.
Yes. So the funny thing is people were trying to kind of cancel him over that.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah, they were already trying to be like, look, he did this thing with this girl. But of course, the funny thing is she actually ended up coming back because people were trying to cancel him over that. The woke mob on Twitter and everywhere else were trying to like cancel him over that. But then she responded and she said, absolutely not. That was 100% consensual. There was no issues there, right? So she's saying, I know nothing of what you're trying to claim here. This specific incident was over 10 years ago and it was harmless. Please don't try and use me for whatever purpose you are trying to serve. I honestly have a lot of respect for these women, just like fucking putting them to bed here.
Yeah.
Saying like, do not try to weaponize me. Fuck you. Like people were trying to say that like, oh no, it was forceful. She looks uncomfortable, right? This looks like it's a problematic encounter. She's like, no, this is fine. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, okay. So I had a similar experience like this recently. So when I went to New York for Chrissy's wedding, I was supposed to be on the Wet Spot show, but Cecil was like, oh, let's meet up before, like me, you, and Zia, and let's get drunk at the bar before, because I had never been to a bar in New York. And then
I love your Cecil voice. That's the appropriate amount of estrogen for Cecil.
you know, it's more than I have. But so I was walking to the bar and I get there and I hadn't gone inside and I was like, oh, are you guys inside yet? Because I was like, it's my first time going to a New York bar. And then he's like, no, I missed my train. I'll be there 5 minutes before the show. And so yeah. And she's like, I'm stuck in traffic. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to go in by myself. And they're like, oh, I just went up into the Compound Media building and Anthony Cumia and Gino were doing their show. And I like waved because I had met them both in person at the wedding and they flagged me on and I was wearing kind of a low cut top. And so they were very drunk and Anthony just complimented my boobs for an hour. And
Anna. Oh my God. How horrible. Oh my God, Anna. Oh my God. I'm sure that was the first time anybody has talked about your boobs ever, anywhere. ever. I'm sure it was the first time. Oh my God.
Well, he was just telling me how beautiful I was and that he liked my cleavage for an hour. And so, but they, I guess, cut that out because they didn't want him to get canceled. So it's like an hour that's gone. And people were like, he sexually harassed you. And I was like, when? And I was like, I was there. Like, when did he sexually harass me? And they're like, he touched your boob. And I was like, he poked my mole. I was like, if I was really that offended, I would have said something.
Right. You have agency. It's like this whole women are strong and independent, but they don't have any agency and can't do anything themselves. It's like, wait, what? Which way do you want it?
But I was like, how are you getting, if you're sitting there, could you imagine if you went on a podcast with a bunch of women and they told you just for an hour how handsome you were?
That happens to me all the time.
Okay.
And
also,
it's totally sexual harassment, and I'm filing against all of them. And I totally would have a problem. Now, Anna, I don't want you to file a claim against me because I want to bring another woman into our relationship. I want to make this a three-way. So I brought my good friend Nina in. How are you, Nina?
Andrew, you look so handsome tonight. I just wanted to let you know.
Oh my God, I'm
so handsome.
Triggered.
My
It's
God,
so problematic. Oh my God,
what a knockout. My God.
Oh my God, horrible. Oh, I'm so targeted right now. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Nina.
It's good to see y'all on this, and I know you guys have been covering this a lot, so I appreciate having you on because a lot of times you guys catch things I didn't. I would have never caught this wall sex thing if it wasn't from Anna. Anna's definitely the PhD in wall sex.
I didn't.
Like she's got the trigonometry figured out.
Look, they're even the size.
Dude, she did a demonstration yesterday on my stream. It was hilarious. But okay, I hadn't seen that video that you just posted. But it was funny to me because when you asked her, like, did you think that there was a problem with it? And I was like, well, it didn't start problematic for me, but because she sat on his lap, right? Mm-hmm. And then, but then like he tried to like lift her skirt. That part was a little risque. Like I was like, okay, like unless they've talked about it beforehand, like I'm gonna sit on your lap.
But you saw that clip. You saw the clip in the beginning. They were whispering to each other. So we don't know what they're whispering. He's going to be like, "Hey, I'm going to do this real quick." Like, are you cool with it?
That's what I'm saying. If it was like talked about beforehand, then it's like whatever, right? But if it wasn't, it would be like kind of risque. It's like, okay, that's.
But once again, but here's the thing, Nina. If she says it's not, it's not. Like literally,
exactly.
She tweeted out. She said it was harmless. So
yeah, and I was surprised about that. I was surprised about that tweet. I was like, wow.
Honestly, that's like, I strongly respect these women. I take back my He-Man woman hating of all women, and I make like another exception. You know, it's like you two get a pass, you guys get a hall pass, and then like she gets a hall pass. Wow. You know, for her stand-up behavior. But Otherwise,
That's
there's a
odd.
running ban. But anyways,
Do you guys want to hear
that
something funny?
yeah,
So
sure.
last night, because we're talking about complimenting people and complimenting men
Yes.
specifically.
Yes.
So last night, Nick brought up the fact, like it's all Nick's fault. I blame Nick.
It is always Nick's fault.
Men getting
It's always Nick's fault.
right?
What was that, Anna?
Is he just saying like how men never get physical compliments?
No, we were talking about just something random.
true,
and then
though.
somehow Adam Krigler came up and we were talking about like people complimenting each other. And I was like, oh yeah, because I complimented Adam because he posted his modeling pics and he was so hot. And
Yeah, I mean, that's why they hired him. They hired him because he was a model. He was
Yeah,
paid
but
to just
because
go
I
around
said
and be a hot
was,
dude.
because I said past tense, Nick was like, rip Adam Krigler and like all this stuff. And I was like, no. And Adam came into my stream today and was like it was all like it was bad.
I demand you admit I'm still hot now.
Have you seen his Twitter profile now? Like he took it very personally.
Okay, he did. That's like Nina does not think I'm hot. Nina,
No,
like,
I want to see this. Where is it?
This is
Okay,
it. Look
okay,
at
that's
this. I'm
so
gonna
fucking
share the Twitter profile.
Okay, you
now.
share it right now. Yeah, okay.
Was
oh no.
oh
You really hurt him, Nina. Why'd you have to hurt him like
his
that?
feelings. I'm sorry, Adam. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, damn.
Sorry.
Damn.
He was mad. He came into my stream earlier and he was just like, really,
Damn.
Nina?
he was actually mad?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, this is fun YouTube drama. This is great. This is good stuff.
It was
This is
just fun. It's
wholesome.
all good
This is
fun.
wholesome YouTube drama. I like it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Xander's rant says, Nina, correction. He was handsome.
I know. I was gonna say that to you when I came on the stream. Like I was like, Legal, you were
Andrew,
really handsome.
you were so handsome. I'm like, when? Like 2 minutes ago? Like, what did I do? Do I need to flip the hair back again? Like, what's going on?
Like Monday night, you were so handsome.
Yeah.
Monday night, what happened?
Oh man, it's great. It's so hilarious. But it's funny with these double standards because it's like, look, if men sued for as many things as women sued for in the exact same scenario, it would be lawsuit city, right? Like if it was going the other way, like Anna was talking about walking into a locker room. So a woman walked in on him in the changing room. So if it's the other way around,
oh my
if
god,
it's a man walking a woman, oh my god, he's fired, he's canceled, everything's done, it's over for him. Even if it's an accident, it's over for him. But the other way around, the guy's in trouble.
Press charges, right? Like women can press charges immediately for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they're willing to just jump out there and be like, "Milady," and lock them up.
Can men do that too, Andrew?
Sure,
or is it
on paper they can.
Okay.
In practice,
it doesn't happen.
They can't
because they'll be like, "You're a pussy." Like, shut up.
Exactly. It's like you're a F slur. Like it's funny because these same people, you're soy, you're this or that, you're what's wrong with you? That's the whole thing with teachers, right? When people have teachers who are like, oh my god, that teacher's hot, you would totally should want to do that with your teacher, right? And the kid's underage, the boy's underage, and the woman is the teacher. It's like, oh, she's hot and she gets a slap on the wrist. If it's a guy, same age difference, right? Let's say it's 30s and teen, right? Same age difference. The guy is locked up forever and he's on a list and he's in a corner. The woman is back out teaching within a couple of years. So it's
there's a lot of double standards. There's a lot of double standards that happen.
So like I'm saying, if we're going to have the laws, I have no problem. Just enforce them equally. And if we're not going to enforce them equally, we need to get rid of the law, right? Agreed. So if we're not going to enforce the whole withdrawal of consent thing, because I was talking with Anna, the birth control thing is a big deal. If I agree with a woman and I'm saying we are going to have sex without a condom because you are on birth control, you are invalidating my consent. I did not consent to that. I did not consent to have sex when you're not on birth control. So if she's lying about it, she should be punished. Now, the courts have rejected that. Canadian courts rejected that, and other courts have rejected that. But it's the same logic. If it's going to be illegal in Canada to have sex without a condom, it should be illegal to have sex without birth control.
Well, you know what the craziest thing is I was talking about this with my mom, I know it sounds really bad, but like my mom brought up a really good point, which is like about the condom thing specifically. Like she was just like, look, everybody's had that condom conversation. Like it happens in every relationships. Like she's like, and she was telling me like, I know you haven't been in many relationships because I basically was in one, and then I ended up like just being like, you know, that's the one. But she's like, and usually when girls and boys get together, like there's always a conversation, and usually sometimes one of them fucks up, and then you know, and it's just like, oh, the next time it's like what. So she's like, I don't understand how this has become like this giant thing of, oh, is this grape or like whatever. And she's like, I just don't even understand like how that works. B-Rad, yeah, my mom, we have to catch up. And then we talk about Russell Brand because she was like, I was starting to like him, and now he's a rapist. Like, what happened?
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to cancel. They're trying to preemptively cancel everybody, and they want you to have no recourse. So I know you guys have seen, and most people have seen this letter, and we don't have to read the first one in its entirety or anything, but I know you've seen the Rumble letter, right? So most people have seen the Rumble letter, which is the letter to Rumble, which I believe was the first one to leak. We now have a full series of these letters.
Yep.
So there are now almost like a half dozen of these letters.
I saw the TikTok one. I don't know what else has been sent out.
It's all the same letter. It's just they just changed
different companies.
Well, it's all from this culture of media and sport committee, which to me sounds like, oh God, what was that one from Hogwarts? Like the you know,
the Harry Potter letter,
the Harry Potter committee, but like the Ministry of Magic. It's like you know.
Oh my God!
Over and they're trying to crack down.
Dude, the lady that sent it is that
Dolores
bitch
Umbridge
from Harry Potter.
It's like Dolores Umbridge. This is like
she's Dolores Umbridge. She is.
Yes,
oh my God!
Yes. This is what I think of because it's a woman. It's Dame Carolyn Deniage, DBMP, chair of the Culture, Media, and Sport Committee. So she's literally in charge of this government body, right? So this is a government thing. That is telling, and obviously from Rumble, for those who don't know, I'll just recap this real quick. This was a letter from the UK government to Rumble, a private American, mind you. Yeah, fuck you, England. We rebelled again for a reason, right? I'm just saying it. I know, and I love my British people. Just I have a problem with the government right now. Okay, so it's not a problem with the people. There's lots of people. There's lots of base Chads and Stacys there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weirdos that vote for these people and get these people into power. And now they're really coming in a like V for Vendetta level of censorship here. The Culture, Media, and Sport Committee, once again, sounds like the Ministry of Magic here, is raising questions with broadcasters and production companies who previously employed Mr. Brand to examine both culture and industry in the past and where that culture still prevails. Full stop. None of these companies, whether it's X or Rumble or anybody else, none of them employ him. They monetize the content, but they do not employ him, right? So that's very, very clear. Like they do not employ him directly. And this is a very important distinction. So us right now, Nina, Anna, me, we're not employees of Rumble. Or we're not employees of YouTube. We're not employees of X. Although thanks to haters, I'm sure we all are able to monetize off those platforms very well, especially X. But like we're not paid by them directly, but
we're kind of like what like subcontractors. I think that's kind of
like you could say a contractual relationship, right? So we're doing work and we're being paid for that. But more than that, it's really an agreement about advertising revenue and super chats, right? So any of that, we agree that revenue is going to pass on to them, and in exchange, we're going to abide by their terms of service. So we're looking at his use of social media, including Rumble, where he issued a preemptive response. So the real thing they're butthurt about is that he was able to talk back. And when you read the other letters, you're going to see this trend. The issue they have is that he is able to defend himself. It's not that he did the thing even. It's that he can talk. He has freedom of speech.
Yeah. How dare you? By the way, Anna, major shout out because I read what you wrote to this bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck her. And like good job. That was good.
Wait, which bitch? Which bitch? You wrote her?
Sent this.
The woman that sent this, dude, her entire social media feed is people telling her to resign. And then Anna freaking told her off too. And it was great.
Good. No, perfect. And people should, by the way, flood them with mail. If you live in the UK, if you're one of those base Chads and Stacys in the UK, you need to flood your members of parliament. You need to flood this office with, we do not support that. There's an address up here, right? There's an address up here. Flood them with mail, right? Physical mail, right? That actually sends a message. Do that. It will absolutely help. Nothing wrong with you contacting your member of parliament. What's wrong? There's nothing illegal about it. Just, you're out there contacting these people.
Look at it like this. Scientologists sued each person that worked at the IRS, and that's how they became a church and don't have to pay taxes, is because they use...
that's fully legal now.
I know. But they used that choice to...
They infiltrated too. So they sent... The smart thing about those guys, and Mormons did as well, is they sent a lot of folks to work for the federal government. They're like, well, we can't beat them in a battle, like a straight up battle. So let's infiltrate them. Let's co-opt them. Jeez. And they were able to do that, which is great, right? So they also sent a lot of women in to get spicy with some federal agents, which is in line with Don Baca's comment. Can we talk about Anna's boobs more? Well, I mean,
we'll get sexual harassment.
What's there to say? That's her only personality trait, Don. I mean, it gets old after a while. I mean, come on. Sejong the great Korean emperor says, remember, if a certain group of people did not have double standards, they would have.
Wow.
It's very true. It's very, very, very true.
Kind of true, yeah.
So here you go to finish off this Rumble letter. It says, we'd be grateful if you confirm, right? So they're doing this passive aggressive. This is the same thing that, by the way, the FBI did to Twitter before the Elon days when they said, we would be grateful if you could look into these people, which is code word for you need to ban them, right? Whether Brand is able to monetize his content, including his videos relating to serious allegations. If so, we want to know whether Rumble intends to join YouTube in suspending Mr. Brand's ability to earn money on that platform. We want you to guarantee to ensure creators are not able to use the platform to undermine the welfare of victims of inappropriate and potentially illegal.
Sorry.
I love how she had to say potentially illegal, but by the way, this is also defamation because they haven't been proven to be victims of inappropriate behavior. Like your puppy is a victim of inappropriate behavior right now. And totally being abused, totally being forcefully waving here. It's horrible.
I love when she does that.
It's terrible.
It's so cute.
Hey, you're in a lot of Pika-Peas.
Mm-hmm.
What? I'm in Thailand, but there's a lot. Yes, fluffy white dogs. Fluffy white dogs are everywhere, and they will get you laid if you have a fluffy white dog.
Pekingese. You're not in Korea anymore?
No, I'm in Thailand.
You moved?
Yes.
For good?
Are there elephants?
Well, I pop around. I move around. Yeah. There's
so
elephants.
You're like, so you're going for the lady boys. How's it going?
Yes, only lady boys. By the way, okay, I'll just say this. The lady boys will make American women look to shame, right? It's like when a man can beat you at your own game, it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
Wow.
America's got some problems.
Tulip.
Yeah. What do you say?
They don't have tulip.
Some of them do.
They'll eat.
Anyways.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Baby Ewok. Wait, what's your dog's name?
Tulip.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
The flower.
I mean, sometimes tulip is, well, we won't say. There's okay.
I hate you.
Never mind. There's a certain topic I'm thinking about.
She's my
okay. That type of flower. I'm thinking about different flower. Listen, we're knee deep in serious allegations here. So obviously,
okay, wait. On that topic.
Yes. Okay.
It's not the Russell Brand topic, but it's the Rumble topic and censorship. Did you see the AP letter to them?
The AP letter from the Associated Press.
Yes. Did you see
who's
that?
it to? The AP letter to who?
Chris posted it today, the CEO of Rumble. It's on Twitter.
Okay, so let me go.
I also shared it. I can pull it up.
Can you share it real quick? That'll be probably
yeah. That one was next.
Well, while you do that real quick, obviously there was the TikTok letter. So this is the TikTok letter. This is the exact same letter from the exact same Dolores Umbridge we got here to TikTok saying, we want you to demonetize him. We'd be grateful for you to confirm whether he's monetized. So that's there. You also have, so it's Rumble, TikTok. And then when you go through, the biggest thing is here, they're now writing news stations that have had him on, and they are saying, this is to GB News, right? And they're saying it is concerning that Beverly Turner, who described Brand as a hero and invited him to appear on her show, subsequently fronted GB News's coverage of the allegations regarding Mr. Brand on the 18th. So the fact that anybody spoke up for him, they're finding problematic, despite the fact that none of this is even filed. This isn't even a court case at this point, right? None of it's proven. But the fact that anybody even voices a defense is unacceptable.
Yep.
So because of that, we'd be grateful if you could set our discussions with GB presenters on their responsibility on impartiality and professionalism. So they're saying it's unprofessional to allow them to defend themselves.
This is so stupid because it's like there's no evidence. It's just he said, she said at this point, and based on that, they're trying to cancel him and ruin his entire career.
Right. Yeah, but just based on literally not just like good evidence or whatever else, like literally trash evidence, half of which is clearly doctored and edited, none of which has been verified, right? So like stories that don't make sense, evidence that's been tampered with, and stuff that nothing that's been proven. If that's the standard, every man is fucked. Like
I have a
every
question
single
for you
dude is
about
fucked.
this. Because, I mean, before we move on to that other thing, because this is about Russell Brand. If you were Russell right now, like if you were Russell Brand and a bunch of chicks, did this to you, and you have this giant platform and all this stuff is happening to you, what is your next recourse? Like, what do you do, Andrew? Are you going to sue? Are you going to come back and talk about it publicly?
I have his money. I have his level of money. Because there's two different strategies, right?
Like you're Russell Brand. What do you do?
Right. I'm Russell Brand. I start suing people, right?
Okay.
And I start suing them, and I want to depose them as to their motivations, as to their political alignments, as to what they were doing, as to their campaign of interviewing people, right? So one of the facts, and correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, because I know you know this, they said that they went after them, right? So they are the ones, right, that went
the
and
media
got this
went after the
information.
chicks. Yeah.
So it says in the article that they have been for years now interviewing hundreds of people, everyone that he worked with, was associated with, and dated over since he started being a famous person. And out of those hundreds of people, only 4 had something to say about him. And all of these women didn't have something to say until they were approached by reporters and were made aware of his social media presence now.
Okay, let me ask you ladies a question. Now, Nina, I know perhaps this you're maybe don't know as wide dating experience, but at least you can say for friends. You can say for friends, right? You can. It doesn't have to be for yourself. But of the girls if people went back and asked their ex-boyfriends, and it was as easy for the ex-boyfriends to sue as the ex-girlfriends, how many disgruntled ex-boyfriends could you find?
Oh my God, a lot. Like all of them. Like literally every single guy friend I have.
I literally worry about my exes, but then I think the only reason my exes haven't said anything about me is because I have way more on them than they have on me.
Okay, that's scary. So Anna blackmail that blackmail girl, change the
blackmail. It's if they told people my oddities and the weird shit that I'm into, my audience will grow. If I tell people their shit, it's going to
it's just that's the dynamic, right? So if people said Anna is into cosplaying like Goku, like in bed, and that's what she is. She just wants to cosplay Goku, and that's her thing.
Not even Bulma.
Peaches is Bulma, and he is Goku, and it's a weird thing. So like that's her thing. There's gonna be guys that simp for that. The craziest thing is there's guys that'll simp for it.
That's
right?
True.
Like they'll just come out of the woodwork and they will stand for you in a ridiculous way. Just as ridiculous as, by the way, Anna, the guys that the white knight guys that like try to start shit with like the other guys and saying, oh, Cecil's harassing you, or this person's harassing you, or this person is making you uncomfortable. And those same folks will come out of the woodwork, like absolutely, and then destroy the other dudes.
Now, I have a follow-up question because you said you would
No.
start suing people.
Oh,
Okay.
especially the newspaper, not the women, the newspaper, because I think there's more sympathy
Right.
for that. Unfortunately, I think the women are always going to be more sympathetic, even if they're malicious. So sue the newspaper because people don't care about corporations as much. So if you make it you versus the corporation, it's more of a sympathetic case in both places.
That's key. Yeah. I think so too.
I like winning. My strategy is to win. Like I don't give a shit about like strategies that are ineffective. I start going after them for their pattern of behavior and for my loss of sponsorship, because now I've lost sponsors over this. I also sue the government
damage
because I sue the government because the House of Commons, the UK government, is actively chasing me and hunting down my money without a crime. Now, look, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, guys, but the law in the UK is different than the US. We have stronger due process protections here by law. That's how it is. You guys, if you want to change that, please vote and change your government.
Commonwealth countries suck.
But
Trust me, I know.
Commonwealth countries, you just don't have the same constitutional level of protections we have here. It's just a fact.
We had a revolution.
Yes.
That's why we had a revolution. That's why we changed things, guys, so we can have stronger due process.
Like so many people are like, you're supporting a pedo. He's a pedo. And I'm like, don't argue with me. I don't think a 30-year-old should be fucking a 16-year-old.
Why? Oh, because of that?
Yeah, because of that.
The queen is the one in their country, the king now. It's age of consent in the UK is 16. Don't get mad.
No. Anna, it's age of consent in most of the world. Like it's 16 is like very common in all of Europe, pretty much. 16 is most of Europe, right? Most of Europe, not all. Most, because people are going to come out. Andrew said, oh, yeah. But a lot of Europe, a lot of other countries, it's 16 over here in Asia. Now, Thailand, it's 18. Korea, it used to be like 14. And I think it went up to 16. But like there are other countries, different laws. That's their law for their culture. And whether you like it or not, whether you're comfortable with it or not, it's not illegal. And that's their culture. So it's kind of funny how they'll call it cultural appropriation if it deals with like a hairdo or an outfit. Like if Nina puts on a kimono, they're going to call that cultural appropriation, right? But they're not willing to respect their laws and their culture because the laws are a reflection of their culture. They're not willing to say, yeah, it's okay. We consider a 16-year-old an adult, right? They're not willing to respect that. And I think that's hubris on our part. I think it really is hubris on our part to say that we are better than all of them because that's our law. And by the way, let's be real. And this is what it is. In the United States, people in high school are having sex, right?
Yeah.
Right, they are. And we have to be considerate of the fact that we don't want to make a bunch of people sex offenders because you're 18 and had sex with a 16-year-old, which is why we came up with Romeo and Juliet laws, right? So if you're a senior in high school and you're going out with a sophomore or whatever, that you're not a.
I was having a discussion about this with Nick too. It's like the definition and the thought and the idea of it. Like that's why everybody's like calling him a pedo or whatever.
Nick?
Like
no.
They're like
Russell.
Yeah, Russell. I was talking about this with Nick.
Like Nick.
No, not
Nick's
Nick.
A weirdo. But he's
We're calling that to Drex and Camelot for some reason. I have no idea what that's about, but that's a thing. But anyways, Russell. I was gonna say Russell Hall. Russell Brand. The fact that they're calling him that, it's the optics and the image of it, because a lot of people are like, wait, what? He's a pedo now? And to me, it's like, yes, it's gross, like what Anna said. I mean, Nick said the same thing. It's gross. Like the idea that he's banging a 16-year-old at 30, like in his 30s is gross. But when you think about pedophilia, at least when I think of pedophilia, I think about prepubescent kids.
Yeah.
So when you bring up pedophilia, it makes it like the girl was like 9 or 10 or 11. You know what I mean? Like it's like it makes it really like
most
gross.
people, like if it's pre-puberty and like maybe like right around go through like before you're physically able to have a child. I think some girls get it when they're like 10, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think like 15 and up, like I don't think that that's a pedo, especially if like, what if this girl is 16 and she looks like a 30-year-old woman, right?
Exactly.
Well, right,
They lie
right.
about their ages to go to
And
clubs
here-
and shit.
This is that's exactly it. So what if the girl says she's 18, says she's 21? There's all sorts of situations where we need to be compassionate. And what people are imagining of this like innocent, 16-year-old girl, she might be quite a voluptuous girl. There's girls that when I'm from in Miami, they get breast implants and
I was very developed at 12. Like people were like,
well, there you go. Stacked Nina Stacked Finity.
True.
But speaking of stacked, guys, if you can go over here and follow that Star Wars girl, probably on Twitter, because that's where she's most problematic and that's where she's most likely to get banned. So go follow that Star Wars girl over here. She's got a bounce to the Jack Show, but I appreciate I appreciate her titties being on this show today, because that is the only thing we appreciate. That is all we talked with was her boobs, and all we talked about for an hour or so.
Subscribe to me on YouTube, because YouTube just wiped 1,000 subscribers from my channel.
I got about 100.
For a second, I thought you were going to say
wipes.
something else. I was scared for you.
Yeah. I got about 100 wiped recently. The YouTube does it in purges.
No, 1,000.
Yeah, no, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. So, yeah, so go back and subscribe me to YouTube because they hate me right now.
And she's got a calendar. God,
go
100K
too. But I need to go over to the Jack Show, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Whose channel is it on?
John's.
Okay.
Right. See you guys later.
Bye.
See ya. All right. So now it's just.
Then there was two. By the way, somebody said I'm wearing an NSYNC shirt. This is Friends, you guys. It's Friends.
No. Well, Nina, can we go on your show and talk about whether Friends was a good thing or bad thing? Because I have a lot of we could do an entire episode on that, but I do not want to derail us here about Friends.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no.
I've been having this like kind of conversation, because a lot of people have, especially now looking back at Friends, they're like, that was the beginning of the end. Like
my husband's been saying that from day one.
Let's see. But Real Hydra PX says, Nina, is your favorite interest to play a saxophone?
Sure. I did learn it in school. It was alto sax.
There you go.
I did learn.
I also want to say a big thank you to Rose, who gave 5 gift memberships. Thank you so much for gifting 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Appreciate you. Rumble needs to they're up with the member chats now. They'll show those in StreamYard, but they don't show the gifts for some reason. So thank you so much. I try to get that in by pasting it in, but appreciate those gifts. It really helps out with the channel. And guys, you've really been so supportive with your super chats and gifts lately. I really, really appreciate that from all of you gangsters. And if you like this content, you can smash the like button. Even if you don't super chat and remember, if you can do it, that's great. I love it. But smashing the like button is free. And if 484 of you that are watching do it right now, we will be in a good place. But we also have some degenerates over here on Rumble. Emeresk for 10 said, here is some support for finally hitting the live button on Rumble. I fucking hate YouTube. Yeah, sorry, Rumble gets weird sometimes. Sometimes I add it later and I gotta manually put it in, so it happens. Occupant 42 said, canceling for when you're not complimented on your looks, so you can be offended on somebody else's behalf.
How do you do that rant stats thing?
It's an applet. I can send it to you. I got it from the Nicholas Ricada. So I will forward that over to you. So yeah, I know I it's kind of funny because the people that talk about getting offended about looks, often if you look at their profile bio or look at them, it's like, okay, yeah, that I can see why they're mad about that. They've never been harassed in their life. The US age of consent map, it will shock most people. Yes, because even states, and I'll pull that up for a second, but even some states have a lower age of consent. It's not what people think it is, right? So a lot of people have a misunderstanding of what age of consent is in the United States. And Boda Nielsen says, YouTube, no thanks. YouTube breaks my community standards. Hey, listen, that's why we have Rumble. And by the way, that's why I support Rumble. I try to get it up and going every time. Sometimes I'm late and weird, but I try to get through with it. Yeah, and that Star Wars girl, people are asking, she's also on Rumble. So you can follow her there.
I need to teach her how to do the simulcast still. I've been trying to do that for like a month.
Yeah, it's just the thing with that manual setup. You got to manually set it up, and if you make like one mistake, you're like, oh, it didn't start now. So now
it's really annoying.
Yeah, I'm messed up here. So it's actually a bit of annoying thing. I think I caught up on everything. Let me check. Oh, except for this $50 super sticker from Leprechaun Gold. Thank you so much for the Shiba Inu. Very cute, about as cute as Tulip was. So
Aww,
I can't believe I was thinking a different Tulip. Anyways,
I know. Where is your dirty mind?
I'm
dirty
sorry.
mister.
Andrew came. Anna came in here. I'm talking to myself in third person. Anna's first thing out of the gate, Nina. She's literally talking about the angle of the dangle with wall sex. She's like,
wow.
I've done the math.
Oh yeah, because she did like the show and tell on my show.
Because here's the quote. Here's the actual quote. She said that following her attempt to leave, he greeted her naked, kissed her against a wall, and said a friend was already in the bedroom. I tried to get him away, and I slipped away from the wall. I then went to another wall that had a painting on it, a huge painting, and my bag got stuck underneath that and was on my arm. At this point, he's grabbing my underwear, pulling it to the side. I told him to get off, couldn't move, was pinned, and he's pushing up against me. So, yeah. And they're claiming that she went to the RTC at UCLA, but, once again, she provided her underwear and things as samples for frozen. Not saying that there was any confirmation that that anything happened, and also not saying what she went there for, which might just be an STD test, right? Because a lot of these places like RTCs, they don't have to be. They're kind of misleading. You don't have to be like having a sexual assault going on to go there, right? They offer routine STD checks. They offer condoms. They offer other things like that where you can just go and get those, right? You can just go and just pick them up.
Kind of like Planned Parenthood stuff. Like they just give you all the whatever you need kind of thing.
Right. Some people go to Planned Parenthood, not like you. There's other reasons to go there other than getting an abortion, even though that's what they're most well known for, right? So just because you're there, you're not presumptively getting an abortion. All right. So we went through all of the letters. Just want to make sure we're getting through all this, folks. Did you see the Rumble response? I want to say I'm very proud of Rumble for this response. Did you read this?
Yes, of course. We went through it all yesterday on my stream.
This is great.
And Anna did her little action figure thing.
A lineup. So let me do a quick one. This is just a quick read for those that haven't seen it. Today, we received an extremely disturbing letter from the committee chair of the UK Parliament. While Rumble obviously deplores SA, grape, and all serious crimes, and believes that both alleged victims, here's the important, alleged victims, right? So the UK kept using the word victim. These are not victims. You are not a victim until you have proved yourself a victim. This is a big language game they're playing right now. You are not a victim until you are proven to be a victim. Period. Full stop. Just because you say something doesn't mean it. And the accused, so saying the alleged and the accused are entitled to a full and serious investigation. This is important. Both sides are entitled to investigation, including revealing any exculpatory information. So it is vital to note that the recent allegations against Brand have nothing to do with content on Rumble. Just yesterday, YouTube announced solely on media accusations it was barring him from monetizing. Rumble stands for very different values. We devote ourselves to the vital cause of defending a free internet. Based. Incredibly based. Meaning an internet where no one arbitrarily dictates where ideas can be heard or which citizens may or may not be entitled to a platform. We regard it as deeply inappropriate and dangerous that the UK Parliament would attempt to control who is allowed to speak, which is the full stop. That's what they want to do. They want to control your speech.
Oh, yes.
It's like Richmond, North
and it's
Richmond.
not just them. And it's not just them.
They want to be in control. It's not just them. It's DC as well, baby. And they want to see who earns a living. That's right. They want to cancel your ability to earn a living. Singling out an individual and demanding his ban is even more disturbing given the absence of a connection between the allegations and his Rumble content. Exactly. The Rumble content has nothing to do with that. It's solo content. It's not him there essaying girls live on screen, right? Although it made politically and socially easier for Rumble to join cancel culture mob. I love that they said that. Doing so would be a violation of our values and mission. We empathetically reject the UK Parliament's demand.
Okay.
So a
Well
kind
done.
fuck you.
Well
Good.
done.
More companies need to do this. More people need to stand up and have some balls.
Yeah, but you
right?
know what? They're not. Like, and that's why it was
No,
such
no,
a
no.
surprising thing.
So
'cause
here's
it doesn't
what's
ever
happening.
happen anymore.
This is today, right? Or yesterday, sorry. A supplements company said it's waiting for more evidence for anything definitive. So one company stays, but other supports are walking. So many other people are dropping him. So 3 of the sponsors, the
Didn't his
coffee.
publishing company drop him too?
So yes, that's what it's going to get to. So Mud/Water dropped him. The footwear company Vivo, Barefoot, and investing platform Masterworks says they're no longer working for brands. So he's already lost 3 giant sponsorships and his publishing company. So Pan Macmillan, publisher, said they're pausing all future project with the comedian. So they're pausing everything because of this, including several books.
You know what's weird though,
and
especially for a
mentors.
publishing company,
It's
like you
really
would
weird.
think that you would actually want someone who has these kind of accusations and this kind of thing going out, because no matter what they put out, they're going to sell. Like, you know, like no matter what kind of book they put out afterwards, like whether it's, you know, whether it's good or bad, they're gonna sell the book because people are gonna want to buy it, because that's in the news. People are gonna want to buy that book.
Nina, these people, this just shows me how they have drunk the woke Kool-Aid, because any capitalist would think what you're thinking.
It's bad for
Controversy is
business.
good. Controversy is good, and even if it's controversial, there's nothing illegal or wrong about publishing a book for somebody.
No,
there are people out there with books. You can buy a copy of Mein Kampf if you want.
Exactly.
To, right? Like, and
like
by
Charles
the way,
Manson's book. Like, I mean, there's people
everything.
as murderers that have books. Like,
and I believe they should be able to go out and publish these books, because you should be able to say, hey, they're wrong, and you should be able to criticize them. We cannot critique it unless they're allowed to speak. Right? It's not like it's anti-American, it's anti-everything we really stand for. To see that and see that canceling going on, it absolutely is vile. Was there anything
about the
about
other one, because that's related to this?
So you want to go to the AP one? Okay, so we'll jump to the AP one. So this is,
but be careful reading this and
okay.
YouTube
I will
disclaimer.
self-censor.
Yeah,
I will self-censor on this one.
But
Dear
YouTube
Rumble
disclaimer,
Press,
this is from the Associated Press. This is not our beliefs or Andrew's beliefs or my beliefs. This is from the
AP.
Associated Press. We're just reading
this is from Ali Swenson. Wait a second. I may know this person. This person may have gone to college with me at some point. Oh, it's very interesting. If I know. All right, interesting. No, because they're super woke and left, so this one makes sense. I'm a reporter with sense
because this
yeah. No, anyways, dear Rumble Press team, I'm a reporter with the AP National Politics team, writing with a few questions about Rumble, given that it will be a live streaming partner for the second GOP debate, as it was for the first one last month. Is there any way someone at Rumble could be available to answer the following questions by phone or email by the end of the day Thursday? Number 1, how many active users does Rumble have? Can you give any data to demonstrate how its user base has grown as relative traffic from the first GOP debate? How much has the platform grown? You should say fuck off, right? I mean, maybe give them your active users because that's public information, I think. But other than that, be like, well, fuck you. All right, number 2, what are the content moderation rules? Are there certain types of content that will not be tolerated or removed? Yes, they don't tolerate copyright infringement. They don't tolerate pornography or anything illegal, right? So
it's usually in their terms of service. You could kind of look that up if you really wanted to.
So it's closer, yeah. So, but they're lazy. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. So I would just refer them to the terms of service. Like, that's the dick move here. It's just be like, here's the terms of service. Read them.
Check out our terms of service, just like YouTube does.
Like you, yeah.
If you want help, click on this link, and then
because they also think of the hubris of these reporters. They want access to all that information. We, as normal content creators, we never get access to this level of information. Although, by the way, Rumble is easier to speak to. Rumble might actually do this for creators. But if we did this with YouTube, YouTube would tell us to fuck off.
Yep.
Right. Like 100%. Actually, let's move us under so it makes it larger. After Rumble's participation with the RNC, Republican National Conference, does the platform have other plans to get involved in the political space? Well, I'm sure they're already in it. So that's a space that's open on YouTube. So why would they not get into it on Rumble?
Number 4 is the best.
This 4. While Rumble said it's immune to cancel culture, in quotes, and has been lauded, others criticize it for allowing and promoting harmful conspiracy theories, disinformation, violent ideas, and extremist views. When we reviewed the following, so everything we're about to talk is violent, conspiracy, disinformation, extremist. Several videos on the leaderboard promoted the QAnon conspiracy theory. Well, what specifically about QAnon, right? So there's a lot that went into QAnon. And look, some things I'll say it. Look, some of the QAnon stuff is patently ridiculous. There's a lot
so
of
stupid,
so stupid. But there's elements within that, within anything. There's elements that are legitimate, right? So a lot of times conspiracy theories, and people don't understand this, conspiracy theories are built on elements of legitimate information. So, for example, like the moon landing stuff, there's elements of legitimate information in there, right? There's elements
JFK assassination.
JFK. There's a lot of true stuff. In fact, there's declassified information that tells us that they were involved in that situation. So that's
we don't need to name any more examples on.
But you get what I'm saying. Like there's elements of real stuff. Just because the overall conclusion is incorrect doesn't mean that elements within it aren't. So my skepticism here is what parts of that are you talking about?
Exactly.
Right?
Also, Andrew F says, "You mean Trump isn't a time traveler?" Dude, I had not heard that one. Wow.
Can neither confirm nor deny. Some of the editors' picks have been promoting baseless claims, including 9/11 conspiracy theories. Once again, you are allowed to question, you're allowed to bring up the information. People are allowed to mock you. People should be allowed to bring up, if they want to make those theories, they should be allowed to. That is America, right? We have freedom here. You should be able to question everything, and people are allowed to question you back, right? So you want to make your 9/11 video, that's fine. Someone is allowed to say this person is a intellectually disabled person because they are because they're trying to prove this point. You're allowed to do that. That's free discourse.
Baseless claims, like based on who? Like who is making these claims?
Okay, this one I'm going to be very cagey about. Search for things that are that happened in November involve picking between two political parties. Populates videos that falsely claim the so-called deep state rigged a previous battle between Trump and Biden, and that the coming battle between presumptively Trump and Biden has already been set up. Okay. That should be allowed. That's also free speech.
All of it is free speech.
Comments under some of Trump's campaign videos call for violence. See, this is so vague. Give me a specific. Notice how they don't say anything specific.
They're gonna give you a little bit of specifics.
Okay, including saying that Biden should be hanged, right? Okay, but I will put this out here. If we're talking about if he's convicted of treason, that used to actually be the form of punishment for treason, right? So if someone is convicted of treason in the past, that was historically a punishment. No longer is, right? But once again, I'd like to see the context, and I like the fact that it's not actually quoted here. A lot of gallows should be built. Well, once again, that's not a direct call for violence, and that Democrats should be executed. Not. Once again, if it's in the context of criminal punishment, we still have capital punishment in the United States. So if we're talking about that, not necessarily wrong. And once again, in order to pass the Brandenburg test, the Brandenburg versus Ohio, which is a test for violence, it's not just a general call that is illegal. It's not just saying, hey, we need to try these people for treason and we need to convict them of capital punishment and then execute capital punishment on them, right? That is not illegal. What is illegal is directly calling for violence. So if I said, I'm going after Nina on Tuesday with a baseball bat, right? That is illegal because it is a specific threat. And I say, I am doing that for sure. I'm not doing that. I love Nina. We're not even in the same country. Right?
We're not.
But like the point of the matter is,
I'm going to turtle grape Andrew.
Yes, turtle grape. Like that is, I can now sue because my bussy is under threat, right? So I need to protect it at all costs.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yes, you're welcome. You didn't expect that one, did you, Nina?
No, I did.
David Lopez says, "Hey, are you going to touch on the Unity Engine's runtime fee controversy in the future?" If I was
I
trying to look
heard
into it,
this.
let me look into it. I have not heard about this.
Dude,
So
people
what
are
is that?
losing their
Can you
minds
explain
over
it to me
this.
a little bit?
No, I can't, because my
Okay,
husband
okay.
explained it to me, and I was like, "What the f are you talking about?"
So
But he
I
was
will
losing his mind about it. It's like those people,
I
people
will
are
look
very bad.
into this. I will look into this. I will look into this. Thank you for a super chat. Whenever I have a super chat, I am highly incentivized by money.
It was
look
a
into
good
stuff.
super chat. It was a good super
Yeah.
chat. You should look it up.
Honestly, and that saves it for me. So if you guys send a super chat, there's a topic I'm going to cover. It logs it for me. So I have a log of all my super chats, so I can go back. For example, our anime stream. I just watched Our Last Crusade because it was like one of the recommendations on the anime stream. So I go back to the super chats and I'm like, hey, did I miss anything? And I search for the anime stream and I just get my
Nice.
recommendations off of that. Yeah. And by the way, people keep asking, when's your next one? When's your next one? I'm like, guys, like I can't do it every single month, but like maybe once every other month, I'll do an anime stream. We'll talk about good animes. But that
People
is like
just
one of the
love
most
talking
loved
about
ones.
anime. We should do one
Because
on my channel next.
We'll do it on your channel for sure. Absolutely. I'll absolutely do it on your channel, Nina, anytime. Because people just love it. Leprechaun Gold for $10 sent a hippo with a backwards hat. Yes, thank you so much.
I love your
Appreciate that.
dog picture, Leprechaun Gold.
Very
He's so
cute.
little
Very cute
dog.
dog. Very cute dog. A lot of cute dogs today. What a cute dog day. Ahead of the first GOP debate last month, the GOP's official pre-show was overridden with racial slurs and
You're not
bigoted
sharing the
comments.
screen anymore. Just
Oh, sorry. Okay. So it was overridden with racial slurs and bigoted comments. I want to know what they consider a racial slur. Because honestly, like nowadays, everybody is so soft that it's sad. The episode has been hidden from public view. Well, what were the racial slurs? I want to see what they were. Was it like was it a Mexican joke or something? Like, did they make a joke about tacos or something? Like what went on here? You know,
nobody knows.
I need to see that. You know, did Rumble's response to these? How would they respond to this?
Just like if you back out on this, because that was Chris's response, the CEO of the thing. The one I sent you was the tweet. So he basically posted it and was like, "This is what we get all the time," and they're disgusting
to it, right? Yeah. Because like it is absolutely vile that this is what they try to get because people are trying to cancel Rumble. They're trying to come for Rumble because these guys are allowing people to speak, and it's really crazy. It's really crazy how much hate they have for Rumble.
I mean, it's really not that crazy because people really are scared of true freedom. There's a lot of people that like it scares the shit out of them.
Oh, okay. So sorry. Somebody on Rumble explained, thank you, Rumble, said Unity changed their policies. If you make over $200,000, developers would have to pay royalties per download of a game.
Something like that.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Oh, and Aaron says, I'm going after Nina with redo of Healer on Friday. Wait, what? Is that a thing?
Oh my God. No, please don't.
No. Okay. All right. So I have another story for you, and I want to get your reaction to this because this is something I'm now going to be covering because it's going into a court case. So I'm going to have a separate video on this. I'm going to break it out, but I just want to get you. Did you hear about this Joe Jonas, Sophie Turner thing? Because now Sophie Turner,
we talked about it on Toxic Femme.
She is now suing. So before she was just like they're divorcing.
Okay, I didn't hear about
now
the suing.
Demanding the kids be returned to England after they've been wrongly detained and been split. So here's what's been happening. They agreed. First of all, Joe Jonas has been the one taking care of the kids while she's partying, right? But now she's trying to get possession.
There, look at that.
She looks, you can tell she's doing drugs and drinking. It's clear. Like when you start going on that hard, you can tell. But sorry, I love being in like Asia because they have like wholesome family commercials, you know, and I'm like, oh, this could definitely not happen in the US. But Joe Jonas has been taking care of the kids, right? So one of the reasons why they're divorcing is because Joe Jonas was at home taking care of the kids and caught her saying something nasty about the family on the Ring camera.
Oh.
So he was like, that was a line, that was a final straw. So like, we're done here. And she said, I wanted to be out partying. I feel like I missed my party phase and I want to be out partying. She said that herself. That's her own admission. That's not me as a toxic male projecting on her. She admitted that, right? So
yes.
was there anything else about this on Toxic Femme that you guys picked up on?
No, we talked about like the idea of her wanting to, like, what that's about, kind of thing. And I mean, me and Anna were actually kind of like, wouldn't say on her side, but we're like, it's better to get a divorce if you have like, if you're gonna, like, basically it's gonna get the kids hurt in the long run. If you like, if you're in such a bad place, it's better for you to separate anyway, before you cheat on each other, before you hurt each other even more. Because she clearly wants to go out and party and bang other dudes, because I think that was her main thing, is she wanted to bang other dudes, but at the very least she didn't want to cheat on the guy. So I was like, I mean, I'm fine with that, because if you don't want to commit adultery, like, yeah, go ahead. That's why I was saying, like, I respect people like Leonardo DiCaprio, because they just never get married, and they're like,
well, no, but
I
that's
know
a different
myself.
thing, right? And that's what I love people try to criticize. Oh, you're degenerate, this and that. I'm more honest. Like, it's like I'm single. I am single right now, right? I am single, right? I am completely 100% honest with everybody. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to, get married to you, or no, I don't want to date you, or whatever. There's no problem with being honest with someone. Leo is very honest. He's like, hey, I date you, and everybody knows he's going to break up with him at 25. They know what the deal is going in, and they agree to it, because the fun fact is they want to date Leonardo DiCaprio.
Exactly.
Period. Full stop.
They don't mind being on that list. Like, they're like, I don't care. It's Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I don't care if people call me a degenerate or whatever else. I could give less of a shit, right? That's whatever, right? That's people are gonna call you that. People are gonna criticize you no matter what. It happens, right? But the thing is, it's like, at least be honest about it, right? Now, what I think happened with Sophie is she got into this, I want to have a family and kids, and then she got it and realized she didn't actually want it, right? She actually she actually wants to go back and party. She gets kind of that FOMO. Right,
exactly.
Which is such a big thing.
But this is what Anna was saying. This is what Anna was saying.
Her friends were the ones influencing her, and her friends were all single.
Well, yes and no. But Anna was saying that apparently, because she was saying, I forget if she said she knew people who knew people that knew her, kind of thing. But she was saying that basically, long story short, is that she's always been a party girl. So like, whenever, like, even when she was on Game of Thrones, like, she was most known for being the party girl, or like inviting like whoever all over for drinks, or like, if the staff was going to go out, the cast was going to go out, it would be like, her leading the charge of like, let's go out, get drunk, like blah, blah, blah. So she's always been like that. Like, that's her characteristic. And then Anna was saying that as part of the reason that, was attracted her to Joe Jonas, because he was a party guy. So at the time when they met, at a party at the time. They partied together, they got high together, got drunk together, all the stuff. And then at some point, they just went completely separate ways, it seems, because he's like now wanting to become a family man. And she's like, I still haven't sown my wild oats, which doesn't make any sense, because she has. Like, she's been partying her entire life.
And she had all the opportunity to do that. Like,
she's been to bigger parties than any of us, and like as adults, you know what I'm saying?
She's seen some shit, Like I grew up in Miami, so like I grew up in very much a party place. I've been to a lot of crazy parties. I've been to a lot of crazy things, but a celebrity has access to so much more, right?
So much.
And a Sophie Turner level celebrity, who, especially her peak Game of Thrones popularity, she was going everywhere she wanted to be, right?
Yep.
And she wasn't.
And she was really young. So for her to be like, I need to go sow my wild oats. It's not like she's like 50 years old and she got married at like, 15 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, she didn't get married so young where it's like, I don't know. It's all weird. It's like she's never partied before, like you've been partying the whole time. Like, when is it time for you to stop, Sophie?
Yeah.
Like, when are you going to take a seat?
Never.
But you know what? No judging, because
they want to keep it going. They want to keep it going. Well, no, here's the thing. If you want to do that, here's what's going to happen. Here's what you do. If you want to do that, good, more power to you. Party, have sex with a million dudes, whatever. Go do that. Live that life, and just get prepared. Be prepared to have a cat. Buy a lot of cat food. Invest in cat futures. You will be happy with your cat. If you want to have a family, you need to not do that. We're in this world, Nina, where people don't understand there are sacrifices, right? I'll speak to women. They'll be like, I want to be a CEO or in a high power position and I want a family. I'm like, you've kind of got to choose. And that's the problem, right?
Right.
If you want to work a job that is 80 hours a day, that's not conducive to you spending a bunch of time with your kids. But they've told you, they've lied to you and said you can have both. That's the problem, is that feminism and these TV shows have gone off the deep end. No, they've just gone off the deep end and they said you can have both at the same time. That's realistic, right?
Yeah,
She-Hulk,
it's not realistic
right?
at all.
Whatever, you could do whatever, you know.
Dude, there was like this unrealistic thing happened the other day on a TV show I was watching. Because I watched a show called Virgin River, and it was like I
I'm getting a lot of ideas about the name of the river, but yeah,
I know it's fucking terrible.
right.
But anyways, in the show, there was this one couple in the new season where this dude, he's like a young doctor, single, like he's like you know prime of his life. He's like in his 30s, blah blah blah. Comes to this town. It's like a small town. And he meets like, you know, a few people. And then he ends up dating this freaking 50-year-old woman. I was like, that would never happen. This is the most unrealistic thing that's happened in the show. And there's a lot of shit that's happened that's unrealistic in the show because younger men aren't going to go and date like 50-year-old women who are post-menopause. Like, I just don't see it. I was like, no, I don't see it. Wait, did Andrew freeze? Or did I freeze? Who froze? Is my internet gone? Who's frozen?
It's probably me.
It's probably you.
No, I think it's me. Okay,
it's you. Okay,
it's me, right?
Is my Mexican internet out? You're back.
Okay. Sorry, no, it's my Thai internet. They're trying to censor me. No, but like the thing is, okay. So you were talking about. I heard everything. You were talking about. Wait a second. No, I've actually a
dude that is young and alive. Dating like a 50-year-old. No.
Okay, sorry. No, but Nina, hold on. They will casually date or have sex with a cougar, right? But they will not permanently date them, and they will definitely not marry them, right? So if they are having sex with a cougar, right? Like, because there are certain women, especially hot older women, or the sugar mama woman who's
sugar
paying the
mamas,
guy.
yeah.
They're gonna do that, and they're gonna also have a younger girlfriend, right?
Exactly.
And when I've said this, I'll confess this. Especially when I was in Korea, you know, there's some hot looking, especially Asia, they look very young, hot looking 40-year-old women that I'm happy to go out with, but they know the deal, they know the score. It's like, you are one of the girls I'm seeing, and I'm also seeing the 20-year-olds, right? Because there's no long-term potential here, there's short-term potential, but they know the deal, right?
Okay.
And like most people know the deal, like, but it's not long-term. And I am very clear about it. I'm personally very clear about it. Look, if they're attractive, like, I'm here for it, right? If they're attractive, I'm here for it. I'm just not going to have a family with them because it's not possible.
It's not possible to have a family with.
So why? And I'm not going to consider a long-term relationship or marriage with someone that it's impossible for me to have a family with them.
Exactly.
Right? Especially at my age, it's not reasonable to say, okay, well, I'm going to wife you up at 40 plus. It's like, no, absolutely not. There's no point. Why would I ever do that? Yeah. Let's see. Jack says, I know a couple of dudes that settled down with some cougars. One married my other mother. It happens. Yeah. And look, it can happen, right?
Really?
And it can happen, but once again, things are getting pretty desperate stateside. I mean, people are willingly entering into, you know, these poly spokes with like one big fat chick and 60. So
talk about
degenerate
and
pathetic. It's pathetic because it's like one horrible quality woman who's treating you like shit. It's not
well, hang on though. Okay, let's go back to Sophie for a second. Because you were saying she's suing. Like, okay, she's suing, right?
So let me make this very clear. So I am now going to cover this. I'll pull the lawsuit. But in a lawsuit filed in Manhattan court obtained by people, Game of Thrones alum has requested her 2 kids be returned to England. The complaint is a legal suit against Joe Jonas, calls for the immediate return of the children wrongfully removed or wrongfully retained. They claim that he is stealing the passports. So they said that they agreed that England is their forever home in conversations in 2022. They sold their Miami home they previously resided in. We're in the process of buying a home in the English countryside. Well, they're not going to buy that anymore, right? So the question is, I think that Jonas is working in the U.S. So I think he's in the U.S. So that's why she filed in America.
Yes.
So you're trying to get him out of America. There's actually case precedent on this. I'm gonna do a separate video because it's like
Where were
kind
the
of like a
kids
deep dive.
born?
The UK, but that's actually in an international case. I think they were all born in the UK. But that actually,
I think that
Nina,
matters.
no, it does not. Well,
Really?
it does, but it doesn't. It's a factor, but it's not the decisive factor.
Oh, okay.
So
Tell
they
me
can
more.
actually.
Tell me more.
So well, I'll go in. It's a long doctrine, but just to simplify this, like the layman's version, you look at where their habitual residence is, where they have been living, because the thought is
like primarily. Okay.
You don't want to rip them away from their school, from their network, from their friends. The thought with children is best interest of the child. So if the children have been habitually residing in America, they're entitled to continue to habitually reside in America. So if those kids are Americans, they've been in America, then
does it also depend on age? I think it might also.
Well, at a certain age, you have the ability to give input and to say, hey,
yeah,
but
I'm talking more like if you're an infant, obviously, like because then you're gonna need your mom. Like if it's I think Sophie's youngest might be very young, so I think
right.
I think
but
it does need its mom.
The divorce was filed in Miami, Florida, so their divorce was filed in Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he's sticking around the U.S. So I think
this is going to be a complicated case. The US.
So it'll be very complicated. It's also a Florida case for Florida man, Florida lawyer.
Good for you. You're like so happy. You're like, I'm so happy these people are splitting up. I mean, this is
in fact, I know exactly which mansion they bought because they bought the Frank Lloyd Wright mansion. I know exactly where what mansion they bought. But anyways,
crazy.
They sold it there. But anyways, it's very good. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to give my analysis based on some of the facts, but I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive. So that'll be a separate video.
That's going to be great. So you're going to have to come on Toxic Femme again and talk about it.
Probably a premiere. Oh yeah, I'll come on Toxic Femme. Just you have to invite me. When do you normally do Toxic Femme? What time?
We do it Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
And
you have an open.
Okay, yeah. That's a little bit early.
You have an open invite now, Andrew, so you can become our legal expert. I can
join the ladies anytime. I can bring my toxic masculinity anytime to Toxic Femme.
Yes, anytime.
Okay, thank you. I just see it seems like anytime Tom is on, he like drags me in. He's like,
Tom is always on because he's part of the show.
Well, he's a lady, so it's he's an honorary
lady. The only dude. But now he's not. Now
he's gonna have to share the ladies.
I mean, sometimes sometimes we bring in Valiant too.
Yeah, he's
most
kind of
of the time we get Valiant to dress up as a woman. So just to offset the feminine energy a little bit.
Yeah. So one more thing before the last topic I want to cover here is this, and I want to get your take on this because I posted this on Twitter, but I want to get your take. This is Disney CEO who vows, Bob Iger, and vows to keep quiet the noise. He's going to stop talking in the culture war. Do you believe it or X to doubt?
X to doubt. X to doubt.
There is no way in hell this man is going to stop talking and quiet the noise.
Look,
to do that, they would need to change their IP.
Look, Bob Iger has made a lot of vows. Like he's already made this vow. Like he was already like, we're going to focus on like whatever. I don't know why I started sounding like Trump.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna focus on the best movies ever. We're not gonna talk about trans vaginas. We're not gonna talk about the children. We're gonna leave them alone.
The last Bob, the other Bob that he replaced, Bob Chapek,
was the one who wanted to do this, by the way. He's
the one also that vowed to never talk about the stuff again, and then immediately after did the famous hostage video.
Well, we've learned, to be fair, we've now had that expose that exposed that Chapek and Bob Iger were fighting. Right?
Oh, they were fighting for sure.
Yeah. No, it came out. It was like publicly put out that like these two, like I think Chapek has admitted as much. Like they were actively fighting. He did not want to go down the political route, but he did because McCarthy was a stronger position than him, and Iger was still there. Iger never left. Now Iger never left his office. So,
but he did do that, like the hostage video, and I feel like at any moment now, Bob Iger is gonna come out and do a fucking hostage video because like tomorrow is gonna be like oh yeah, like we vowed to do this, and then the groups are gonna come out like, what do you
Well,
mean, Bob Iger? Like, how do you
here's
mean?
the
Like, what do
here's
you
the thing,
mean?
Nina. He's gonna say, well, what I meant by this was that we won't put out any official statements, but we're going to continue to make IP that's super woke, right? Like,
Right.
he's going to interpret this a certain way. Like, this is not, yeah, it's definitely going to be interpreted in a different way than we think. This does not mean Disney, he suddenly decided to make Disney based again. No, what he's seeing is the stock price tanking, and he's like, shit, we gotta step up on this. But right now, to me, he's got one clear thing he can do.
I think he's also saying something else.
Drop your federal case against DeSantis, right? That's one way to stop it being there. Maybe this is a prelude to that, by the way. Maybe this is a prelude because he knows he's going to lose that case. And before they lose the case, this is a prediction. What they might do is before they lose the case, they're going to drop it because they don't want a ruling against them. So they preemptively drop it. That's like saying, you can't fire me, I quit.
That's interesting. Okay, see, my mind didn't go there at all.
I do because I've been covering these cases. So
you've been covering this forever. So,
yeah.
But I'll go to where my mind went because I've been covering that forever, and that is seeing Rachel Zegler stick her foot in her mouth every 5 seconds. So, and she's super woke, and the movie hasn't even come out. And they already know. They've already estimated that this movie is going to lose a shit ton of money because of how woke it is, because of all the things Rachel has said, because of just all the backlash. It's just been bad, like the casting, all of it. So I think he already, like, he kind of sees this kind of stuff, and he's like, maybe he's like, motherfucker, we got to slow down. Like, this stuff is kind of getting a little out of hand, especially with people like her. So I don't know. Think you might be right, obviously, but I think it might have something to do with that too, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Tank Rat for 25 dinar says Disney must burn. Iger is nothing but clown shoes. Yeah, but he's continuing to continue this cycle. He's continuing to continue like the cycle of indoctrinating Disney and starting these political battles, these political fights, right? Which is to the detriment of their company. And to the detriment of like a company that really has a storied history and is absolutely was something great, was made into something great.
It's really very sad. I was such a Disney girl. I love Disney so much. I wanted to get married at Disneyland and have a princess themed wedding. That's how much of a Disney girl.
I've seen the pavilion, the princess wedding pavilion at Walt Disney World. It's there.
My husband was like, we're never fucking doing that. Just stop it.
Well, now you can't, right? Like, they ruined it for everybody. They ruined that potential. And I like Disney as a kid. I love going to Disney. They literally shat on my childhood. And for that, I'm like, fuck you. And kind of fuck you. You're like literally destroying my like pure, innocent childhood feelings. And you're injecting all this agenda into it, right? Into my childhood. Because of that, your boy's coming for you. And I'm sorry, until you go back come back to that, until you remember where you came from and you just go back to being a wholesome company. Like just be wholesome. Is that so bad? Is that so horrible to just be wholesome and not?
Is it like not even wholesome? Like, well, I guess wholesome.
Well, because it involves children. Once again, this involves children. Like, look,
I mean, Disney made stuff that was like not even made for kids, like fully made for children either. Like, like remember their 80s movies? It wasn't like fully like kids friendly.
But here's the thing, Nina, be clear about your marketing, right?
Yeah.
So if it's for children, keep the agenda stuff out of it. If it's Deadpool, do whatever, right?
Yes.
It's Deadpool.
But now,
right?
dude, we're gonna get a PG-13 Deadpool. This is gonna be absolute trash fire. I feel like Deadpool under Disney Marvel is gonna be a fucking trash heap. I don't know how they can make it good. I just don't.
They cannot. They're gonna have to make it woke or something. And he ends up simping for what is it? Like simping for what's like some other character, the black female character, whatever. There's gonna be something going on in there. By the way, we found an image on Locals of the actual reenactment of Russell Brand in the wall scenario. This is the actual reenactment of the wall scenario that is going on here. I also love the caption Super Sentai versus Power Rangers. It's like, oh, that's That's
Oh,
very
that's
good.
actually
Yeah.
funny.
That's what had to go on, guys.
No. Okay, somebody said
with your
Nina watched
stuck
rated
purse.
R Disney movies in the 80s. No. There was a couple that weren't like super kid movies. Like it was like they were like forget what they're like some of the titles off the top of my head, but I think like the Race to Witch Mountain was one. They weren't like super kiddie movies, is what I'm saying. It's like PG-13. Like they were like older kids, you know.
Yeah,
They gotta
exactly.
make
Like
rated R stuff.
no, I mean, but PG-13 has its own market. Just be clear, rated PG-13 and market it to PG-13, market to teenagers. It can have a little bit of violence in it. It can do a little bit more. That's fine. It can even talk about edgy topics. Although I would say, look, with sexuality, like just be careful with that because it's something that different people have different lines for, and maybe don't edge into a very controversial topic like transing children. Like that's a pretty controversial topic. Like maybe just leave that for your adult films. And if you want to address that in an adult film, then go ahead, and you should do it in an adult way. Right.
Like for example, The Journey. Like I don't know if you ever heard that one. It's with John Cusack. Like that was a PG movie. Like it wasn't G, it was PG. Like you have to have your parent with you to watch these movies. There's a few of them that was really good, and they did it. PG.
Someone mentioned on Rumble heavy metal, but that was great, but it was not Disney.
That wasn't Disney.
Definitely not Disney. So Occupant for $5 on Rumble says, quiet the noise probably means silence any opposition voices. Oof. To be honest with Russell Brand, we see that's exactly what's going on. What they're trying to do is preemptively silence you so you can't talk back. And this is why, guys, even if you don't like Russell Brand, this is so scary because it can happen to anybody, even if you don't like him. And I was never a Russell Brand fan. I'm not like a simp for Russell Brand, just like I wasn't a simp for Johnny Depp. But when you see what's happening and how absolutely frightening it is, you don't have the luxury of saying, oh, well, it needs to happen. If it happened to somebody different, I would defend them. If it happened to somebody I liked, no. Even for people you don't like or don't agree with or whatever else, you still need to defend their rights to free speech, the rights of not being totally canceled without being to defend themselves.
You have to defend the right of people who you don't like, especially. Like that is the whole fucking point. Like it's like when I was talking about like that was one of the things that I was in agreement in Rumble with. I know like that's not like I love Rumble, but I wasn't in agreement with them when they kind of censored Nick Fuentes. Now I hate Nick Fuentes. I think he's a piece of shit.
But they shouldn't censor him. But they shouldn't censor him.
But they shouldn't censor him. I agree. They should not censor him.
Unless there's something they have to, like, for example, a direct call to violence. But absent a direct call to violence, which is illegal, right? Like, except for what is actually legal under Brandenburg v. Ohio, you got to meet the legal standard of that. Unless you meet that, no, it's not bannable. Unless Nick Fuentes is saying, we're going out to get this dude. We're going out to go after Biden on Tuesday at 3 p.m. with a wrench. Unless they're saying that. By the way, I'm not saying that.
In the library.
YouTube, that's a theory, hypothetical, right? Freaking YouTube, it's crazy. But like, unless you're saying that and you mean it, right? You should not be removing somebody's content.
No,
right?
exactly.
Even if it's hateful. Because, by the way, vile, hateful stuff needs to be out there, so we see it and we can call those people out.
Exactly. Let
Thank
them
you,
show themselves.
For the $10 it's the questionable Shiba with a Japanese fan. Oh no, the Japanese fan. It's so problematic. So problematic. We got a $14.99 Aussie bucks. Aussie says it may be that the UK, from Rory O'Connor, says the UK government is concerned with the propagandist effect of what they call, I'm going to say, they call Russell Brand alt-right. To call Russell Brand alt-right, even right, is pushing it. He is a leftist that is coming over, maybe a centrist. He's getting red-pilled on like COVID and like a couple of the government. But there's a lot of leftists.
I laugh at that because I've been a Russell fan for a long time. I've like literally witnessed his transition from drug addict to like, cleaned up dude. Like I was a fan of him from like the very beginning when I saw him in the movies and I was like, this guy's great. I love his comedy, whatever. I liked him. And I watched him and like I watched his YouTube channel before he did, like, when he was doing this truth thing, like when he first started like the truth movement. I forget it was called Truth with Russell, I think it was called. I forget what the show was called. But anyways, he had his dog as the emoji thing. But anyways, like what I'm saying though is that this dude has been taught, like he has been liberal from the very beginning. He's been liberal and British liberal. Like he's been
British liberal, which is more like so American liberal is less than like Canadian liberal. Like Canadian liberal, communist. Like this is like straight up flag waving communist.
Very similar to UK liberal. Very similar.
Very similar to UK. They're close. They're more similar. I think Canada and the UK are more similar in their political party alignments than the US. US is like the last bastion of like
Commonwealth
strong
countries. So it's very similar stuff. So like Russell Brand was a very liberal guy for a long time. And then slowly he kept becoming more center. And especially after the Brexit stuff and after a lot of the stuff that happened in Britain, he slowly started to dislike his own party. He slowly started to understand that so many politicians were lying about certain things that were going on. And he started to speak out more about politicians lying. Seems like they're always lying. They're always lying. You can't trust any of them. And it just became this mistrust of politicians. It just it kept building on. And then all the other stuff happened, like, the election stuff and then COVID and blah, 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 all that stuff that he's been witnessing and he's been talking about. This has been a long time coming.
This is the whole thing is like not just the alt-right, but they repeat visual messages through podcasters not subject to any oversight. This is what they want. That last part there, they want the oversight. Yes. What they want is to be able to control the speech before it happens and take you down immediately. They want to thought police you. They want that speech police and thought police.
Of course they do.
Like they want that.
1984, baby. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I feel, and by the way, I want to give a little shout because the government, when I say Canada or the UK or whatever, I just want everybody to understand, or Australia, I'm talking about the government. There obviously, we just had a super chatter, and Rory is super chatting again here, but he's from Australia, base chat. There's a lot of base chats there. Rattlesnake TV, great channel, Australian dude. There's a lot of my good friends are Australian, super based. The problem is your government does not reflect your values, right? So there's a lot of British dudes that are out there. Even Canadians. There was a huge protest the other day. The truckers, those guys are great. You're great. I like you, but you're not, unfortunately, the majority of Canada, right? And you're not, or at least, well, we can talk about voting in Canada later. But
no, I think
is controlled by people that are not like
Canada's
you.
weird.
They're not Ninas.
But that's the thing, though. Canada's weird because there's a lot of people like me, believe it or not. It's just that they're the silent majority. That's what's going on in Canada. Is the silent majority? They don't really say anything.
They'll keep their head down. They won't say anything, and they'll just go along.
And then all of a sudden, it's like,
hey, we know
all the fucking truckers are out, and you're like, wait, what happened? Like this Canada? What's going on? They closed streets down.
Yeah. Rory says I was discussing Sneeko propagates hate speech. Well, to me, I want to be very clear about hate speech because, I want hate speech to actually be very extreme to get banned and call for violence because once again, I think I know it's radical, but our Constitution says that hate speech is legal, that hate speech is okay. To be able to say, I don't like X group of people. I don't like Persian girls with fabulous hair, so obviously I'm discriminating against Nina,
I want to say I don't like Persian people because sometimes I don't. They're really annoying sometimes.
That's
why can't we say that?
Whatever group you are, you will get annoyed. For example, I say for me, I hate in Asia hanging out in places that are full of white dudes. I hate it. If it's full of white dudes, I will walk out. I will not go there, right? Yeah. Unless I'm on a business thing or it's for work. I have to. It's for work. But if it's full of white dudes, I'm at the fuck out of there because a lot of those guys still have the programming of the West, and I don't want to deal with the bullshit. They want to talk about Western politics. I'm like, fuck off. You're not in the US anymore. Right. Yeah. And also they want to talk about local politics. They have an opinion that matters. So it's it's just I don't want to talk with these guys. I prefer to go to places with really hot, attractive, local women. I would prefer to be at those places or places with regular people or a mix of people from different countries. I want to be with those places.
I just personally want to hate everybody equally. I mean, I just don't see what the problem that is. Why can't we like and dislike everybody equally? I don't like a lot of people.
Ozzy Mark
every race.
Ozzy Mark on Rumble says you're a bit of a lefty, Nina. Just saying. I think it's with love.
That's
It's with love.
fine.
She probably, I mean, once again, people can house like single beliefs that you disagree with. Like
I was a lefty for a long time. I hated guns.
it takes
I
a
was
lot to get over.
I was not pro-choice. What's the other one? No, I'm pro-choice. I was pro-choice.
Probably pro
Excuse me.
pro-immigration, probably.
Like I don't want a baby in my body. Fuck out. Like that thing. Like I was.
Right.
I
But
was
I
pro
think
getting rid of
a
it.
lot of and I think a lot of people conflate that
I was
issue
young.
with
I was young.
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I've learned
At the
a lot
time
of
when you're
different
young,
things.
the thought of a baby is scary, and they scare
Yeah.
you. They traumatize you about that.
And they talk
really
about
do.
the rape babies a lot, and you're like, I don't
Yeah.
really want that.
Yeah. But there's a lot of different types of people. I mean, like Trustarian Fraud says, I'm a hardcore atheist who voted for Trump twice. We'll do it again. Yeah, you don't have to be like Christian to vote
I was
Republican.
atheist for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was a Christian for a little bit longer.
Yeah. I don't ever like to ever I wouldn't ever identify that because the association there is so strong. Like it's like a militant association, you know. A quick question here though. This is a very important question. This is from locals. Does this girl look like Anna? Does this NASCAR driver sort of look like Anna?
And like the smile, I guess a little bit, not the nose.
Okay. Yeah, I think the nose is.
No.
I think the nose just throw it off. I think the nose just throw it off. So
The
sorry,
nose
guys.
throws it off.
Sorry enough. No Anna doppelgangers here. But ladies and gentlemen, if you are not subscribed to Nina Infinity, what are you doing with your life? I really think you need to question your life. I think you need to question yourself, and I really think you need to consider yourself a primary target for hate speech because you are a horrible individual. You're degenerate. You're horrible. So what you need to do is you need to go over to this channel right here with my girl Nina. She is a great friend of mine. She comes up from my anime stream. She's always balancing like talking about the relevant news with talking about positive news. And even though one of the things I love about Nina is even though it doesn't get as much views because that's just what it is, she still does it because she wants to be positive out there and she knows that it's not going to get the clicks and she does it anyways. That's why I really respect Nina a lot and she is always welcome on my show. So go over there, subscribe to her, like
and
follow my
I'm also on Rumble on the same name.
Yes.
So if you're into Rumble it up, baby. And yeah.
Aaron says, I've been staring at Nina's friends all night. Sorry.
Oh, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, well, I want to have the Friends episode with you. I want to have the Friends. It's a debate.
Dude, I love sitcoms. Like we could do like a whole sitcom show. Like I've seen pretty much every sitcom.
Maybe we'll do it, but specifically with Friends. Specifically with Friends and
I've seen Friends a million times. I will definitely. I would be down.
We're down. Cool. Okay, we got it. We'll do that episode. Until then, guys, I am going to go off to get some breakfast, but go over there, follow Nina. Take care, guys, and I will catch you all later. Thanks so much for joining today.